So it's the 16th of August, and I guess I'm just doing an update on how I've been doing since the last video that I did when I initially got here to Georgia. And things could be a lot worse. They could be, but I'm coping with it in a way. Staying busy with my grandma, who she's been really on a steady path since we've come back up here. Today we had a not so great day though. She basically went into a state of shock, and from what the nurse said, it was from the amount of pain that she was in, and part of that was brought on because the nurse came in today and she suggested that we put my grandmother into her wheelchair that we have here. The wheelchair has been here since she was placed on hospice, but we haven't used it. She's been in the bed the entire time, so that's been about, actually of today, a month. And she suggested that we go ahead and put her in the wheelchair for today, and just for about an hour at the most, and then, put her back in the bed. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. Everyone was excited, oh, great, we're going to put her in the wheelchair. We're going to put her outside for a little bit, get some fresh air. And, we were just ecstatic. So the nurse, she assisted with that. And I know it was painful for my grandma because her skin and body is very sensitive. Part of that is that because she's diabetic. So, and she's been really immobile for the most part for a month. So, not thinking, I was just seeing oh great, we get to get her up and out the bed. We, with the nurse's assistance, we go ahead and we, lift her up and we put her into the wheelchair. And when picking her up out of the bed, we know that both because she had breast cancer and she had surgery, she's sensitive around her chest and her arms. So the nurse, to pull her out of the bed, had to hook her arms under and really compress to pick her up and lift her over into the chair. So we knew that was going to be painful. She puts her in her chair. My brother assists with bending her legs. Yeah. Just doing a video. I'm talking about us putting grandma in the wheelchair and how that went. Ooh, strawberry.
Yeah, I think I'll let you get my draw tonight.
Ooh, I'll let you get mine. So.
Alright, it's only fair.
Thank you. So that was my aunt. She just came back in from Walmart. But I digress. So we put her into the chair, and immediately we can tell that it was painful for her. She was wincing and whatnot, and she started to slide, so we had to readjust her. Is my nipple hanging out? It's just a shadow. Woo! Got them draws.
Simone.
Night, Mal.
Good night.
Smell him.
You look awesome.
That was the bubble bath I bought for the girls with me.
Oh.
Yeah. Night. Oh, I'm gonna come and talk to you after I finish this. Aight. So, again, I digress. So we could immediately tell there was definitely something, not right. My grandma wasn't feeling right because, she hadn't been sitting up, and, she was sitting there for a second, and it took maybe a minute, and she started panting. She says, I feel like I'm going to faint. And her face just looked like, it's hard to describe. It was terrifying watching her. She was basically her body was going to shock. She started shaking, and then she became not responsive. She was not speaking. She was just staring out, and her chest was just heaving. Her body was quivering. So, the nurse says, all right, immediately put her back into the bed. So this, of course, is causing her more discomfort and pain because we're picking her back up to put her back into the bed. So in a mad dash. So we're doing that, and we're trying to hurry and put her oxygen back on. And it was scary. We had to lay her down, sit her head back up, put her oxygen up so that, and it took her a minute to come back around. She was gone for maybe a period of 30 to 45 seconds, almost to a minute, that we're calling her name. We're trying to get her to respond, and she was just not there. And when she did start to come back around, it's like she completely blacked out because she doesn't remember it happening. While she was laying in the bed, and we're, obviously watching her like a hawk. And she's saying, oh, so how much longer do I have to sit in this chair? And we look at her and we're like, Grandma, we took you right back out. You weren't able to sit in the chair. And, she was like, oh, okay. That whole situation didn't occur in her mind, which is what apparently happened when we had to rush back up here last week. She doesn't remember it happening at all. It's just like a black spot in her mind. So it was rough, you know what I mean? It was very scary. I know my brother was really upset, all of us were upset, not even just my brother. We were all very upset because we got so blinded, at least me personally, I can say for myself, we got so blinded in the positive that, hey, she's going to be able to be up and we can move her around. She can, get out of this living room, out of the den. You know what I mean? She's been here for a month. Let's get her out, move her around the house a little bit. No, we got so blindsided that I didn't think and process in my mind that she hasn't been up. I know for me, for anybody, if you're laying down for a certain amount of time, you get up really fast, you're going to have a head rush. And that's exactly what happened. She had a head rush. And also with the amount of pain that was inflicted on her body at that one time, that discomfort, it was too much for her. So it was an up and down moment. Because afterwards, thankfully she didn't remember, that when it happened, it hurt for us, but it's not causing her trouble in her mind, which that's something that I can be grateful for. So right after that, she was like, okay, well, what am I eating? She's back to, what am I getting for food? What are we doing? Who's giving me my medication? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? And we went back around to our routine. We went ahead and gave her, I gave her one of her pain pills. She takes oxys. Gave her one of those, and then she also needed a lorazepam, which is it's Ativan. It's an anti-anxiety medication that she's been on for a little while. Did that, and she started feeling okay. She actually went to sleep for a bit. Part of that was from the oxy, and when she got back up, I was able to give her food. She made her some, my aunt made it, and I fed it to her, some chicken and dumpling soup. I just blended it down, and then she drank that, and then she had some watermelon to go along with it, like afterwards, like as a little snack, because we have to watch her sugar because of the diabetes. But it was, it wasn't it wasn't the best day, but it could have been way worse. You know what I mean? I could be talking to you now about, her not being here. Knock on wood. Ow, it hurt. Did that a little too hard. In other news, I don't think I want to share that because I don't even want to say, I don't want to share that. That'd be hilarious. But anyway, again, I further digress. So, my afro. Hilarious. Like, I don't know how to describe it. One of my friends saw a picture of me with my afro. I was like, oh, you should, do that. And I'm like, all right. But, yeah, it's too long. Apparently, it's too long. So it doesn't stay out like that. It just hangs. Which is not a problem. I don't mind. Like, I had a headband on earlier, but it was starting to cut my circulation off, and I need my brain. I need to be able to use that. So I took it off, whatever. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to report. No. Oh, there is. Apparently, it was Bad Body Thursday. Let me explain what Bad Body Thursday means. It means that I went to go pick up my cousin from school as they started school on Monday. So we're going to go pick him up from school. And as we approach the elementary school, there's a flood of kids with their parents. And they were walking from the school. And oh my gosh, I haven't seen that many sloppy-bodied people in one place in a long time. Like, I was just like, seriously? Like, and part of me was like, it's a good thing they're out there walking with their kids because it's getting them exercise, but at the same time, I'm thinking, how'd you let yourself get that bad? Like, hopefully it's something medical and that it's not them just being lazy. Because I hate to sound like that person that just doesn't like fat people. I love people in general. But if you're overweight because of something other than a medical condition and you just have no self-control and no motivation and determination to be active, then that is the bed you made. So, in any event, we saw this woman, Caucasian woman. I wish I'd taken a picture. Like, that's, the thing is, like, I looked, and I was in such shock. I was just like, oh my God. Like, she was walking, and, like, she was, like, kind of waddling, and her body was just swaying the entire way, and, like, she had this huge, what do they call it? Pannus. It's like when your stomach, it's like really, really big and flabby here, and it hangs over. Like, hers was like literally covering her pelvic area. Like, if I were to imagine her naked, which God, please no, I don't want that really burned in my mind. Like, you wouldn't be able to see anything in her V area because her stomach was hanging down so low. And she was pushing a stroller, and she was breathing so hard. And on top of that, too, it was hot today. It's hot, Atlanta. Hampton. It's hot. You know what I mean? It was hot outside, and she was pushing a stroller, and I'm assuming she was walking with one of her other children from the school because the place that we were at is literally right within walking distance. So she's walking, and she is struggling. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. Like, I know if she was by herself, she would probably just lay down and roll to get to her place because it was like on a slight hill, like a slight incline. Like, I would do that if I was that big. Like, I would roll everywhere if I could. Thankfully, I'm not. I don't know what I'd do with myself if I was, like, overweight. Ugh. Anywho. Again, I digress. But again, let me put this out there. I don't have anything against overweight people. I don't. But it's just not for me. I'll put it that way. I don't have anything against overweight people. It's just sometimes it's an eyesore, but to each his own. If you're comfortable that way and that's the way you want to live and you're healthy, kudos to you. But if you're not, and whatever. So anywho, I trying to think what else I could say on here.